The world of Peppa Pig is full of animals who walk and talk just like humans. But have you ever stopped to wonder, what actually happened to real humans? Human Evie. This might sound unbelievable, but one of the few humans still alive might actually be baby Evie. Yeah, we know it sounds crazy. After all, everything about her says she's just a little piglet, just like Peppa and the rest of her family. But you'll soon understand why it actually makes sense that she might be human, at least partly. One of the very few humans to appear in the show is the Queen, as in the Queen of the United Kingdom. That's right, even though humans are super rare in this universe, one of the few left holds one of the highest positions in Peppa Pig society. That pretty much confirms that the British royal family is entirely made up of humans. But here's where things get really interesting. A video was recently released where Evie's birth is presented as if she were the newest royal family member. On top of that, Mummy Pig gave interviews to major real-world outlets to talk about her daughter. Of course, all of this just might be part of a clever marketing campaign, but if we treat these events as part of the show's actual canon, it would mean Evie is a royal baby whose birth was officially documented. And since the royal family is made up of humans, that would mean Evie is human too, or more specifically, half human, half pig. If you're wondering which of her parents might be part of the royal bloodline, we can't say for sure, but we believe it's Daddy Pig. After all, we've never seen their parents. The theory is that he's the son of a royal human and a common pig, and he chose to live a regular life. And just to be clear, a human-pig hybrid is extremely rare. That's why Peppa and George didn't inherit any of the human genes. They're 100% pigs. But Evie, just like her dad, is 50-50, half of each species. That's the main reason why her birth attracted so much media attention. It's something truly rare in the entire history of Peppa Pig, and it means the world will never be the same after her arrival. Pretty wild, right? But this is just the beginning. We're diving into everything about the mystery of humans in Peppa Pig. So get ready and jump in. This is another Cinewave. Humans at home. Even though it seems like the British royal family in the Peppa Pig universe is made up of humans, that doesn't mean every human out there is rich and noble. In fact, it's pretty likely that the ones who aren't part of the royal family are living in poverty. After all, the only other major human who's appeared in the past 20 years of the show is the pirate. And yeah, he's literally a pirate, meaning he's a criminal who sails the seas in search of treasure. He seems to be doing well financially, but only because of his life of crime. He's got treasure chests full of stolen goods, and it's not hard to tell, especially from how he talks to the police about them. Most people who turn to crime usually do it because they grew up poor. So yeah, it kinda looks like humans get the short end of the stick in Peppa's world. If you pay attention, you'll notice that most of the characters in the show seem to be pretty well off. They're clearly middle to upper class, and that opens the door to something big in the next season. We might see more humans show up, and in some pretty unexpected ways. Because they're struggling financially, it's possible a human family could be hiding in the new house the pigs just bought after Evie was born. Or maybe that family has been living there all along, even before Peppa and her crew moved in. What do you think Peppa and her family will do if they discover this? Could they actually become friends with the intruders? Human babies. Another thing we might see in the next season, human babies. And we mean actual full-on humans, not hybrids like Evie. If baby Evie really is part of the royal family, then it's safe to say she has human relatives, and some of them probably have kids of their own. So just imagine a royal baby shower episode where Evie's playing with her fully human cousins. That would be adorable. And since Evie is the big star of the new Peppa Pig season, now's the perfect time to introduce more babies, especially since humans are such a rare species in that world. Plus, if the pigs really do find a human family hiding in their new house, there's a good chance that family has a child or baby someone Evie might bond with. That could be the perfect reason for both families to become close. And if you also want to see more characters like us in the show, drop a comment below #humans. Extinction. Since we've already talked a lot about the Queen and her relatives being human, it's important to point out that they're not the only sign that humanity once shaped Peppa Pig's society, just like it did ours. For example, when the pig family travels to New York City, they come across the Statue of Liberty. Instead of looking like some kind of animal, the statue clearly has the form of a human woman, just like the real one. And that's not all. When the past, like the prehistoric era, is shown in the show, the characters that appear are humans. That confirms that for most of history, this world was just like ours, with humans creating the civilizations that are now mostly run by animals. But how exactly did humans get replaced? Well, it probably started with a major disaster, something that almost wiped us out and opened the door for other animals to evolve until they became human-like. The evolution of humans. Speaking of evolution, if we really think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense that maybe the characters in the show aren't just evolved animals, but humans who evolved in a way that made them take on animal traits. That could definitely be the case if the disaster we mentioned earlier was some kind of virus, one with a very different kind of effect. Instead of wiping out humans, maybe it transformed them. After all, the animals in Peppa Pig didn't build a brand new society from scratch. They're still living in the exact same society that humans created and are still following human rules, even though only a few actual humans are left. They even respect human authorities, like the Queen. That might be because deep down they still see themselves as human in some way, since their ancestors were. And even the fact that the few humans who are still around happen to be royals or pirates fits the theory. Royals didn't have to work when the virus first showed up, so they were able to stay isolated in castles and avoid being affected. Meanwhile, pirates could have hidden away at sea or on deserted islands. Once a vaccine was created, they came out of hiding. But by then, the rest of the population had already been transformed. The next stage of evolution. And we think this new human-animal species is still evolving, and honestly, that's already happening. Just look at Miss Rabbit, who somehow manages to work dozens of jobs. Another huge example is Super Potato, who's clearly way more powerful than the other characters. He's super strong and can fly, basically the Peppa Pig version of Superman. Then we have Daddy Pig himself. He's already shown he has absolutely insane, over-the-top strength. He can literally jump into the sky like it's nothing. We believe this might be because he's supposedly the son of a royal human and a pig. And even if humans and animals are really just different stages of the same species, then a hybrid of the two would be the next logical step in evolution for the beings in this world. And don't forget, Santa Claus is another character with all kinds of powers, but he still looks completely human. That could mean there's some kind of hidden potential in human DNA. So if it's really true that Evie is half human, there's a good chance she'll develop special powers of her own. Since the show is already focusing heavily on her, we'll probably see this play out very soon. Could she become the most powerful character in Peppa Pig? The hype is definitely real. That's why you should go ahead and click that subscribe button so you never miss our latest videos about your favorite animated shows. Experiments. Okay, but what if the creation of animals that act like humans wasn't just a coincidence? We've talked about the possibility of a virus being the cause that turned everyone into animals, but that doesn't mean the virus came from nature. It might have been man-made in a lab and intentionally released to spread across the planet. The reason? Most likely to make the population easier to control. I mean, we all know that the characters in Peppa Pig aren't exactly the brightest. Even the adults act kind of childish and can be manipulated super easily. That could be a side effect of the mutation that turned them into animals. And if that's the case, it's totally possible that the royal family was involved in all of it, not just hiding away while everyone else was transforming, but actually planning for it to happen. Also, they could have full control over the population. And the experiments didn't stop there. If the royal family really did create the animal characters in Peppa Pig, then it's also very likely they're behind the creation of the vegetable characters like Mr. Potato and Super Potato. Those characters, and the other veggies too, are all actors, and they don't seem to have lives outside of being on screen. That makes it seem like they were created just for entertainment. Slaves. But we can't rule out the exact opposite. What if, in reality, the humans are the slaves in this story, and the animals are the ones secretly running everything? In one episode, the pig family watches a simulation of what prehistoric times were like, where humans are shown pretending to be cavemen. It's a lot like that episode where Peppa goes to the zoo, except this time, we're talking about a human zoo. So in this case, the queen, the pirate, maybe they're just acting too, all for the entertainment of the other characters. Could that be why the pirate never gets arrested, even after the police literally find his stolen treasure chest? Underground. We can't wrap up this topic without bringing up one more possibility. What if there are actually way more humans in Peppa Pig than we think, but they're all living underground? The animals in the show all live on hills and high ground. At first glance, that seems like it's just to avoid tsunamis, but what if it's also meant to keep them far away from the humans who live below? Honestly, one of the best ways to survive a major catastrophe is to hide underground, in bunkers. So why wouldn't people have done that in the Peppa universe? There are tons of bunkers all around the world, built specifically in case of war or apocalypse. A lot of people probably went underground when the extinction of humanity began, and many of them might still be there to this day, not even realizing there's still a society living up on the surface. Want to keep the fun going? No worries, just click on one of the 2 videos we left on your screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time!